I'm Renee Charles with the Heartland Partnership, along with Dan Daly here today to talk to us about the financial sector. Obviously, this is the big component with the recession that we're in. Tell me about what's happening, an update on the financial sector, especially focusing on what we see here in Central Illinois.
Well, in Central Illinois, what we're seeing is a tremendous boom in mortgage refinance. Consumers are taking advantage of historic low interest rates, and there's been a tremendous amount of activity which does one of two things. It puts more money into people's pockets, or it helps them to pay their mortgage debt down quicker. Either one is a positive long-term for the economy here, and I think this really bodes well long-term for the Peoria area.
And what about lending to consumers? Some people are afraid there is no money there, that banks are not lending, financial institutions are not giving that money out to the community. Is that the case here, or are we lending?
The vast majority of people here have good credit ratings, and with those good credit ratings, they have the capacity to borrow. Even those with marginal credit ratings probably are going to have a chance to borrow, but probably a little bit higher rate than more conventional loans.
So if you have something that is a good deal, that is a good project, you're probably going to get what you need.
I'd say so. I think that if you've got capacity and it's a well-conceived project, there's money to borrow.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about we were talking about acquisitions. People are hearing of buyouts here, buyouts there. Is that good, bad, indifferent, expected?
Well, I think it's expected. Anytime you have this serious of an economic downturn, companies that were weak going into this type of a downturn, they're probably at the point where they've got to go. And the benefit of that, I mean, the terrible part is the shakeout process. People lose their jobs, they're unemployed. But the good news part of it is there's opportunities for merger and acquisition, which long-term will benefit. Here we have companies that are generally very stable, they're generally in decent shape. There have been a couple stories about companies that have gone into bankruptcy reorganization. I hope they come out of that, and they're expected to come out of that and survive. And so it's a process. It's part of this process that we go through in this economic cycle. Going through the process isn't particularly pleasant all the time, but the results can be very good because I think we've got a good base of very strong companies in the Peoria area. Those will be the survivors. Those will be the companies that will thrive long term.
So those survivors will have even more of a push behind them, even more because they have really weeded out the weak, so to speak?
Well, two things. A, they're going to have more market share because there are competitors in their business sectors that have gone away. Secondly, they'll be able to have acquired assets and talented employees that'll carry them even beyond where they were before. So two great positives going forward, and ultimately, like I say, there's a long-term positive impact, but it's tough going through that process at times.
Let's back up and kind of take a broad view of things. We watch the national news. We hear these stories about the financial industry in dire straits, that things are just crashing all around us. Is that the Central Illinois picture?
No, the financial institutions here in Peoria generally are all very strong. They're well capitalized, they're very well managed, they're competing, and with competition comes better deals for consumers and businesses. We're blessed here to have a good, solid, competitive market in the financial services industry, and it's a boon because when things do begin to recover, they'll recover that much quicker.
And last question for you, Dan. We talked not all that long ago, just a couple of months ago. Have things changed since then, or are we still on the same path? Anything that you can really point out to us that has changed over the last month or two since we last talked?
Well, what's happening, we're seeing unemployment continue to go upward a little bit. There's a lag effect, unfortunately, because I think there are more people that may lose their jobs or go through temporary layoffs as we go through a period of time. What we are beginning to see, a lot of these businesses, particularly the manufacturing sector, inventories have gotten very, very low. And we are seeing in some sectors of the country where the manufacturing has begun to pick up a little bit because inventories have gotten so low that people now have to replace that merchandise. I think we're going to see that begin to happen soon. A lot of the companies here have pared back to about the levels they're going to be for a period of time. But like I say, unfortunately, we're going to go through an extended period of high unemployment, but we'll come out of this, I would hope, toward the end of the year.
All right, Dan Daly with Busey Bank, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
My pleasure, Renee. Thank you.